Let me take you to a place most people never see. 5:00 a.m. The streets are empty, the sky undecided between night and day. Now, you might be asking, why wake up so early? Well, this hour isn't just a time slot, it's a blank canvas. Before the world wakes, before the texts and emails, before anyone needs anything from you, you have total ownership of your time. This is what psychologists call prime time the window, when your willpower and mental bandwidth are at their peak. Think of it like a phone fully charged overnight. What you do now powers the rest of your day. It's easy to hit snooze to say, just 5 more minutes. But what if those 5 minutes are the difference between a day on autopilot and a day lived on purpose? Most people dream of change, but never change their mornings. 5:00 a.m. is your chance to act before the world interrupts. So let me ask you, what would happen if you gave yourself these silent hours? Would you read, stretch, or maybe start speaking English with confidence? That's the invitation. The world is quiet, but your potential is loud. Are you ready to listen? You say you want success, clarity, peace. You say you want to speak English fluently, but every morning you hit snooze. Why is there such a gap between what we say and what we do? This is what behavioral scientists call the intention-action gap. It's like standing at the edge of a pool, saying you want to swim, but never diving in. Now, you might be thinking, but it's so hard to get moving that early. Of course it is. Resistance is always strongest right before action. Let me tell you a story. I used to promise myself I'd study in the evenings, but by 8 p.m., my willpower was gone. It wasn't until I flipped the script waking up early, doing my most important task first, that things began to shift. So next time you're tempted to snooze, ask yourself, is 5 more minutes of sleep worth more than 5 years of regret? The battle is won not in the big moments, but in the quiet ones when no one's watching, and only you can decide to rise. Picture this. You step into a world washed clean by silence. The air is cool, your breath visible in the half-light. This is what I call the threshold moment. Neuroscientists refer to this as a liminal state, where the mind is most receptive like soft clay before it hardens. Most people never experience this. They're still asleep, still dreaming, waiting for life to change without changing themselves. But at 5:00 a.m., you're awake. The city is yours. No distractions, no deadlines, just an open road. Now, you might wonder, wouldn't I just feel tired? Maybe at first, but something else emerges, a sense of ownership, a quiet confidence. You're not just awake, you're alive. That's the magic. In this hour, you're not competing with anyone else's agenda. You set the tone. You become the architect of your day. Let's do the math. Waking up at 5:00 a.m. gives you 3 extra hours before the world demands your attention. That's 21 extra hours a week. Productivity experts call this the compound effect. Small actions, repeated over time, add up to massive results. Now you might be skeptical. What can I really do in 3 hours? More than you think. In 180 focus minutes, you can read, exercise, study English, and plan your day. No multitasking, just deep work, a concept popularized by Cal Newport, meaning uninterrupted, high-value activity. Imagine stacking those hours for a month. That's 90 hours, enough to finish a short English course or build a life-changing habit. So, let me ask, what would your life look like if you gave yourself this gift, day after day? It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters when you're at your best. Let's get practical. You don't need a fancy planner or a gym membership. All you need is a decision. Start simple, stretch and breathe for 10 minutes. Make tea. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. These are what psychologists call anchor habit, small actions that trigger bigger changes. Then, move to your English notes. Practice 5 new words, repeat useful phrases, watch a short video, and shadow the speaker. This is language immersion, creating a mini English environment right at your kitchen table. It doesn't have to be perfect. The point is to show up, to build momentum. Progress isn't loud. It's quiet, steady, and often invisible at first. Now, you might ask, isn't that too little to matter? Absolutely not. Little by little is how mountains are moved. The secret? Consistency beats intensity. One small win each morning leads to big victories over time. Let's talk discipline. Most people wait for motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is different. Think of it as the autopilot system in a plane guides you even when you're tired or uninspired. You might say, but what if I'm not a disciplined person? Here's the truth. Discipline is a skill, not a trait. Every time you get up at 5:00 a.m., you're teaching your brain about neuroplasticity, the ability to rewire itself through repeated action. Let me tell you a secret. I don't always feel like getting up early. Some mornings, my bed feels like the most comfortable place on earth, but I get up anyway, and that's when real change happens. Discipline isn't about perfection, it's about showing up, especially when it's hard. That's how you build trust in yourself. So, who's leading your life, your mood, or your commitment? The answer decides your future. Let's be honest, some mornings will be rough. The alarm rings and all you want is more sleep. Your mind says, skip today. It won't matter. This is what psychologists call ego depletion. When your mental energy is low, your old habits try to take over. But here's the truth. Showing up on the hard days is what separates dreamers from doers. Even if you just listen to 5 minutes of English, repeat a single sentence, or jot down a quick note, you're winning. Now, you might worry, what if I mess up? What if today's effort is small? Don't worry, progress is measured in direction, not distance. Let me tell you, some of my best breakthroughs happened when I least felt like trying. There's power in silent perseverance. Remember, silence is where confidence grows. Every quiet morning you choose discipline. You're building a foundation stronger than any excuse. Transformation isn't a one-time event, it's the result of habits. Neuroscientists call this habit stacking, linking new behaviors to existing routines so change feels almost automatic. At first, it's hard. Your body resists, your thoughts protest. But after a week, something shifts. You wake up before the alarm. Your body moves with less effort. This is what I call the identity shift when your actions start to define who you are, not just what you do. Now, maybe you're thinking, but what if I slip up? What if I miss a day? That's normal. Missing one day won't break you. Quitting does. So, if you stumble, don't punish yourself. Just restart. Each morning is a blank slate, another chance to choose the person you want to become. Transformation is quiet, patient, and relentless. It's built one sunrise at a time. Let's get specific. If your goal is English fluency, imagine what 21 days of early mornings could do. Language experts call this spaced repetition, studying a little each day, so your brain retains more, longer. Picture yourself, 21 days from now, more confident, speaking in full sentences, understanding podcasts, writing your thoughts with ease. Now, you might doubt, will 3 weeks really make a difference? Absolutely, because it's not just about the words you learn, it's about the character you build. For 21 days, commit to 1 page a day, 1 video, 1 honest effort. You'll be amazed at your growth not just in language, but in self-belief. So, are you ready to challenge yourself? The clock is ticking, and your future self is waiting. Here's the heart of it. Waking up early isn't just about productivity or learning English, it's about waking up to your own life. In those quiet hours, you meet the version of yourself that isn't rushed, distracted, or doubting. Philosophers call this self-actualization, becoming the person you're meant to be, not by accident, but by intention. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up one morning at a time, one small promise kept. Now, maybe you're listening in the dark, or maybe the sun is just rising. Pause and feel your breath. This is your moment. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. So, tomorrow, when the world is still, choose yourself. Open your notebook, your heart, and your future. That's the real reward, becoming the person who shows up for life and for yourself.